Ambassador Sinha, you might have just seen Prime Minister Modi's comment, his first remarks on holding the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance, saying India's water belongs to India. Now that, in a sense, goes against the very principles of the Indus Water Treaty, or indeed most water treaties, where upper riparian states, in this case India, share the water with the lower riparian states. Do you believe this is a more effective way of sending out a message to Pakistan?
Thank you, Rajdeep, for having me on your show. I think there are 3 points that I need to make. One is the treaty is very unfair to India. When it was negotiated during the Cold War, Pakistan had patrons that ensured that it got 80% of the waters of the Indus Basin, while India got 20%, despite the fact that 39% of the Indus Basin lies in India. And only 47% lies in Pakistan. The rest lie in Tibet, China, and Afghanistan. So that's the first point. Second, we can walk away from the treaty because the Vienna Convention on Treaties states that if there is a fundamental change in circumstances, and just yesterday I read a report by Dr. Atul Kulkarni, I believe he's a top glaciologist, where he has said that the eastern rivers, the glacial water meltwaters have reduced considerably, while in the west, which is at a higher reach in the Karakoram range, it hasn't reduced. So there has been a material change in terms of flows of all the eastern and the western rivers. But and that would basically, he terms it as the Karakoram anomaly. But I'm sure there are experts on your panel that would know much more on this. The third point I want to make was the fact that people say that you cannot store water even on the run-of-river projects. Again, I will defer to the experts, but what I learned that, for instance, the Kishan Ganga has a live storage of 7.5 million cubic meters and a dead storage of 11 million cubic meters, while Baglihar has a live storage of 32 million cubic meters and dead storage of 352 million cubic meters. Now, how can we use the dead storage? That is, again, something that our experts, because the live storage we know is used for hydroelectricity, etc. But how do we use the dead storage? So I think there are various possibilities as far as the Indus Water Treaties go. I was a co-agent for India at the Kishan Ganga arbitration when the interim measures were announced, and then the final measures came in December of 2013, the final award, and I had already left for Sri Lanka. But I was aware, I went for 2 rounds of arbitration to The Hague. So I think we must be better informed, and I'm glad you've got experts on the panel who can throw some light on how we can.
I'll come to the experts, but I just want to know from you, just very quickly and succinctly, you're saying that this is an effective diplomatic measure to send a message out to Pakistan. Whether on the ground the water stops overnight is another matter. That we'll discuss with the expert. But you're saying, at least for now, when tensions have risen, it is a message sent to Pakistan that India has the option of getting a complete review of the treaty, even if in the future the two sides come to the negotiating table. Am I right?
Rajiv, we've already asked for a review. We even sent a reminder earlier this year. This is all before Pahalgam. And Pakistan has been obfuscating. It has been obstructionist on any project, whether it's Ratte, whether it's Baglihar, whether it's Kishan Ganga. So I think, and we have projects on the anvil, new projects on the anvil, which we must go ahead with. But this is a signal. This is a signaling to Pakistan that if you continue with your policy of state-sponsored terrorism, there will be a price to pay.
Okay, let's come to the specifics. And I want to come to you, A.K. Bajaj, former Chairman, Central Water Commission. On Monday, that's yesterday, the National Hydroelectric Power Corporation closed all the gates at Baglihar and Salal dams on the Chenab, a tributary of the river Indus, with the purpose ostensibly to fill them up after week-long flushing to optimize their water carrying capacity. But just the flushing and closure of these 2 dams has reportedly triggered panic in Pakistan during the Kharif growing season. Is this an act, you believe, that actually reduces the water flow along the Chenab into Pakistan already?
Yes, it is reducing water flow to the Pakistan areas, as we have seen photographs of the dried up river near to Jammu. But what I want to stress is that Ambassador Sinha has mentioned the dead storage and live storage capacities. The live storage capacities are very small compared to what is the actual flows in the river. So, depending on what flow is coming at what point of time, these storages can only be used for stopping water for maybe 2 days or 3 days or 4 days at the most.
So these
we
are
will
all.
need much bigger storages. Some of
So how long would that take? If you
Some of
really
which are being
wanted,
built,
if you really
now.
wanted, if you really wanted Mr. Bajaj to do this in a long, rather than just short-term measures, how long would that take to create the infrastructure that is needed?
The first project with a substantial storage is the Pakuldul project that is being constructed by India, and that is as per the treaty, because till now we were following all the provisions of the treaty. So that project was allowed under the treaty provisions. So that is the first project which is going up in these western rivers, and it has substantial storage which we can utilize for stopping or for reducing the flows to Pakistan. But that has been going on, construction has been going on for the last 3-4 years, and it is not expected to be completed another 3-4 years it is likely to take. So
Right.
major capacity to stop waters will only come when we build storages dams. And
Okay,
one other
given-
point is that
Yes.
just building storages dams will
Go ahead.
just
Go ahead, sir.
building storage dams will not help, because by building storage dams we can store the water, but eventually when the water dam fills up, we will have to release. So what we will need to do is also build infrastructure to move this water from the western rivers to the dry and parched areas of Punjab, Rajasthan, Haryana, or the eastern rivers. This water will also need to be diverted to the eastern rivers to actually make an impact on Pakistan and reduce the water of flows that are going to Pakistan in the western rivers.
Okay, Dr. Anjal Prakash, you're an expert on the Hindu Kush Himalayas water systems, and there are many ecologists, environmentalists who believe that all of this is not conducive to the fragile ecosystem of the Himalayas. Easy to come on TV programs and say we can divert the waters, build this big infrastructure. These are extremely ecologically sensitive areas, and building these projects will take years. Do you believe that this is a wise step? There are even those who are saying that it is not in the interest of India necessarily to start diverting the water flow.
No, I totally agree that this is the entire abeyance of the Indus Water Treaty, and the review is definitely in the interest of India. I have written a couple of articles in 2023 itself of how India can use water as a weapon as deterrence for Pakistan, because it has the huge impact on the Pakistan economy. I'll come back to that later. But the question is also that the Hindu-Kush Himalayan region is a very fragile region. It's one of the newest mountains in the world, and also it's one of the most the number of population, the people who are there, is one of the densest populated mountain in the world. And this means that whatever we are planning, it has to be very, very, very what I would say strategically planned, and also looking at the ecological system, the fragility of the mountain system there. So this has to be planned in together with all the stakeholders in mind. But I don't totally agree that the abeyance of the treaty has an impact. I have also been writing and pointing out that
How much of
in the wake of climate change, you have to understand, Rajiv, that
how much of an impact, Dr. Prakash, would it have if tomorrow we are talking about three western rivers, Chenab, Jhelum, and Indus, where India gives 80% of the water to Pakistan. We have the three eastern rivers where we have exclusive rights, Satluj, Beas, and Ravi. Are we saying that you can actually divert all the water of the western rivers? Is that what we would do or could do?
No, I don't think it is possible. No, I don't think it's possible to divert all the water, as my co-panelist also has pointed it out. What we are actually trying to do here is because you have to understand that the treaty has actually stopped us in building any big infrastructure in this area, and also the entire system is very fragile in nature. So we have to work around that. But diverting. Under the treaty we have to share the information, which is where we are actually have a strategic advantage at this point. So you have to understand that Pakistan's 25% of GDP comes from irrigation and agriculture, and this is the only source of water for them. Also, in the wake of climate change, glacier systems are at a huge risk, as one of the Mr. Sinha has pointed out. I have been working this area for far too long. About 40 to 50% of the water that flows in the upper Indus region actually comes from glacier belt, and these glacier systems are under huge pressure at this moment because of the changing climatic conditions. And last 10 to 15 years has been a problem for the entire sea system. So we ourselves are actually feeling the brunt of the stress systems, and our water flow has been reducing. And in fact, I'm trying to call saying that we must review. You also have to understand this is 65 years old treaty. That time Bretton Woods institutions also had a very different take. Now at this moment they are they have a very different understanding, not only understanding but also different placement in the political system. So we also have to see those strategic advantage that India has. It has gone so far, it is in a much better condition to negotiate a better a condition which Indians will be much more advantageous than Pakistanis.